This week Parashat Bo, very interesting Parashat. Parashat talks about the complete Yetziat Mitzrayim and all of the inyanim of Pesach. Such a wonderful Yom Tov that Chahal Israel celebrates is in this Parashat. And Parashat basically talks about Yetziat Mitzrayim. Now it's very interesting that all of the Mefarshim explain to us that Yetziat Mitzrayim, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took out Chahal Israel from Egypt, all of the miracles that he did to show the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to show the majesty of Hashem, to show how great and mighty HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. Now I want to ask you a question. Imagine you come and learn all of the parashiyot with somebody who is mature, it's an older person, 35, 40-year-old, and you talk about the parashiyot and he knows it for the first time. He didn't know it from before. Now he goes through the parashiyot and he sees that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is challengeable. He's going to be challenged. First Makkah, second Makkah, third Makkah. And Paro is, he's mocking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chas v'Shalom. And he's not listening. Then we tell him all of these parashiyot are teaching us how great HaKadosh Baruch Hu is, how powerful and majesty of Hashem. But he tells us, excuse me, I have a question. How do you see the majesty of Hashem? Just the opposite. You see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could be challenged. No, in the history, they say, Napoleon, when he got into power, nobody dared to fight with him. Russian army, in the snow or winter, they went and they fought with him. And the Russian army got defeated. But the history, they say that, Russian army won. Why? Because they proved to everybody that Napoleon also you could fight with. Nobody could have imagined to fight with Napoleon, but here they showed. Now, in a way, the parashiyot are teaching us that Hashem could be challenged. Now, how do we understand the greatest of majesty of HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the parashiyot? Now, the first say something very fundamental and very important in the Yesod of Torah. All of the makot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought, that wasn't for Egyptian. That was to teach the Hal Israel there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like you see in the Pesukim. In other words, there are three types of Avodah Zarah. One type, Hashem doesn't exist. One type, Hashem exists, but doesn't have supervision over us. One type, there is Hashem, there are other power in the nature also. Now, for the first one, if you notice in the Pasuk Perek Zayin, Pasuk Zayin says, Ko Hashem bezotedah ki ani Hashem. You should know that I am Hashem. That what I turn the water to blood. Now, Nile River, Egyptians didn't have rain. They worshiped Nile River because that was the source of water and life for them. Hashem says, I make the water, which is symbolic of life, to blood. Blood is symbolic of death, to understand that Nile is an idol. It's in the hand of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought Sephardiya, then Kinim, then goes to the second group. The second group, they say there is Hashem, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu got nothing with us. He is up there. He doesn't have anything to do with us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends wild animal. And in the Pasuk says, Hashem sends wild animal. In other words, you could look it up. Perek Het, Pasuk Yud Het, and he fled by Mahu et Eskosh Hashem Yomed Aleha. I will separate Eskosh that Chahal Israel are there from wild animal. Lemantedah ki ani Hashem beqerev haaretz. That you should know I'm a God midst of the land. In other words, if the lion comes, there's the Egyptian, tears him apart. The Jew doesn't do anything. How? Why is it happening like that? Ki ani Hashem beqerev haaretz. I'm God in the midst of the land. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends Dever. There's this epidemic disease has to take everybody, but Hashem Hifla. The Shechin also the same thing. Then the last one, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings Barat. That's for those people that they say there is Hashem and nature also has power. Hashem says, I send this, and the Apostle says, you should know that there is nobody like me. Now why? Because the Barat was not regular Barat, The Pasuk says there was the ice and fire both together. Ice and fire cannot coexist together. Ice would turn out the fire, fire would wipe away the ice, but Hashem put them together to say, I'm above the nature. All of the things in the Parashat are there to teach us how to deal with Paro. Do you know what did Paro say? Paro said to Kahal Israel, you want to be worshipping Hashem, worship Ba'aretz. He says that you did in the Egyptian. In the Egypt, what does that mean? Stay like a goy and keep Torah and Mitzvot. Moshe Rabbeinu said, no, we have to go. Then he says, who is going? Only men should go and to give tax and come back to normal life. What's Avodat Hashem? Avodat Hashem is you go and come back. He says, no, Moshe Rabbeinu. Then Moshe Rabbeinu said, we all are going. And finally, Paro says, everybody should go, but your livestock, your business should stay here. Moses is Moses, business is business. All these things are the points that Paro is making to deceive us in life. And all of Yetziat Mitzrayim, Ramban says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't do it all the time. It is one time that we should take lesson to teach us how to fight with Paro. Paro is, the Halakha says, Pera'ah, a mouth of evil, doing bad things. And he tries to deceive us from Avodat Hashem. We have to overcome Paro. Unbelievable point in the parasha. Do you know what's the majesty of Hashem? What's the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? The majesty and greatness of Hashem is not to talk about that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the sky, thousands of stars, and all of the space. The greatness of Hashem is we learn how to fight with Paro. We have a temptation of saying something wrong. We don't do it, and we overcome Paro. This is the might of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are doing something wrong in business, and we learned about the parasha. We say that was Paro said the business is business, Moses is Moses. Our business has to be with honesty and integrity. We are overcoming Paro. This is the might of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The might of Hashem is, want to say Lashon Hara, something wrong, supervision. Hashem beqerev haaretz, midst of land. You want to see something that's not right to be seen, you stop. That's might of Hashem. This is thing that we celebrate Leila Pesach. The greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the might of Hashem is when He empowers us, gives us power to overcome the Yetzer Hara, to overcome the Paro. Like the Pasuk in Tehillim says, Tenu os Levychaim, give power to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Once we fight with Yetzer Hara and we upgrade positive power, we make the Malchut of Hashem greater and greater, and that's the purpose of our life in this world.